cold air cuts across a muddy clearing. It smells of wet wool, smoke, and diesel fuel. Boots move through slush. A woman stands among others, thin, silent, wrapped in a threadbare dress. Her hands shake, her shoes leak water. She has not slept well in weeks. Around her, American soldiers move with practiced speed. Trucks idle nearby. A blanket snaps in the wind. One soldier steps closer and lifts a heavy coat. It is thick, olive drab, still warm from another body. He places it around her shoulders. The weight surprises her. She stiffens. Her eyes widen. Her breath shortens. She clutches the fabric as if it might vanish. Her fear does not fade. It sharpens. She looks past the coat, past the soldier, toward the road. She has learned that kindness can mean separation, transfers, camps, loss. She whispers, barely audible. She does not beg for food. She does not ask for freedom. She fears being left behind. The scene unfolds in the final months of the Second World War in Europe. By early 1945, Nazi Germany is collapsing under sustained Allied pressure. The Red Army advances from the east. American, British, and Canadian forces push from the west. Cities lie in ruins. Infrastructure has broken down. Millions are displaced. Germany's civilian population faces hunger, cold, and uncertainty. Allied armies capture not only soldiers but also civilians connected to the regime. Party members, camp guards, factory workers, refugees moving without papers. Women make up a large part of this population. Many have fled, bombed cities. Others were forced to move with retreating units. Some are detained during security sweeps. American forces classify them under varying categories: civilian internees, displaced persons, suspected collaborators. The lines blur on the ground. The United States Army is not prepared for the scale of human collapse it encounters. By April 1945, millions of civilians are on the roads. Transportation networks are destroyed. Food distribution has collapsed. Winter lingers longer than expected. Clothing is scarce. American units improvise. They convert fields into temporary holding areas. Schools become camps. Barbed wire appears quickly. Guard towers rise from rubble. The goal is order, screening, prevention of disease and unrest. The soldiers themselves are exhausted. Many have fought from Normandy through the Ardennes. They have seen death daily. They are now tasked with managing civilians who speak another language and carry visible fear. The technology of war surrounds these moments. Trucks run on scarce fuel. Radios crackle with conflicting orders. Paperwork lags behind reality. The Geneva Conventions guide treatment of prisoners of war, but civilians fall into gray zones. Supplies arrive unevenly. Winter clothing is limited. American soldiers often give away personal items: coats, gloves, scarves. These acts are unofficial. They are not recorded in reports. They happen in silence. Political pressure weighs heavily. The Allies want stability. They want to prevent guerrilla resistance. They fear sabotage and disease. The discovery of concentration camps has hardened attitudes. Trust is rare. German civilians are viewed through suspicion and pity at the same time. Many women fear the approaching armies. Propaganda has warned them of brutality. Reality varies by unit and moment. Some encounters are harsh. Others are unexpectedly humane. This moment with the coat happens inside that uncertainty. From the human angle, the woman's reaction is not simple gratitude. It is panic. By 1945, many German civilians have experienced repeated displacement. Bombing raids, forced evacuations. Authorities moved families without notice. Camps dissolved and reformed. Each transfer meant loss of possessions, of relatives, of safety. Warmth often preceded movement. A blanket before a train, a coat before a march. The woman has learned to read patterns. Kindness can signal change. Change can mean danger. She does not know where she will sleep tonight. She does not know who controls the next checkpoint. Her fear is rational. It is learned. She grips the coat because it is warmth. She fears it because it might mean she is being prepared to go somewhere else. From the tactical angle, American units are managing space and risk. Holding areas must be cleared quickly. Front lines are fluid. Commanders want civilians moved away from combat zones. Roads must remain open for armor and supply convoys. A woman receiving a coat may be slated for relocation. A truck convoy may leave within hours. Soldiers are trained to follow orders, not explain them. Language barriers worsen confusion. A gesture meant to help can deepen fear. The soldier may not know her history. He sees a cold civilian. He responds. The system around him keeps moving. From the technological angle, the coat itself matters. Military clothing is designed for endurance, wool insulation, weather resistance, weight. German civilians have lost access to such materials. Bombing destroyed factories, blockades cut imports, civilian garments are worn thin. A standard issue American coat represents survival. It also represents the power imbalance. The soldier controls resources. The woman depends on chance and mercy. Technology here is not a weapon. It is logistics. It shapes emotion without intention. From the enemy perspective, defeat brings collapse of identity. German civilians have lived under total war. The state promised protection and victory. Both are gone. The enemy now feeds them, clothes them, guards them. For some, this is relief. For others, humiliation. Fear persists because the future is unknown. Rumors spread quickly, stories of camps, of forced labor, of revenge. Some are true, many are exaggerated. Fear fills the gaps left by silence. The woman's panic reflects this mental landscape. She cannot trust appearances. Not yet. The turning point comes not with a battle, but with realization. In many camps and holding areas, American policy begins to shift as spring advances. Screening improves. Orders clarify. Civilians are categorized more carefully. Women and children are separated from military detainees. Aid organizations begin to arrive. The United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration expands operations. Food distribution stabilizes in some regions. Medical care improves. In this moment, the soldier does not leave. The truck does not move immediately. Time stretches. The woman remains where she is. Her breathing slows. Nothing else happens. The expected transfer does not come. Across Germany, similar moments accumulate. Small pauses, delays, non-actions. They change perceptions slowly, not through speeches, but through repetition. Soldiers who stay, guards who explain with gestures. Camps that do not empty overnight, the numbers matter. By May 1945, millions of civilians are under Allied control. Managing them requires patience. Mistakes still occur. Hardship continues. But the pattern begins to break. Warmth no longer always signals loss. For the American Army, this phase marks a shift from combat to occupation. Units retrain on the move. Rules of engagement change. Discipline tightens. Fraternization rules are issued and revised. Soldiers confront moral fatigue. They have won the war, but the work continues. Giving a coat is not policy, it is personal. Yet these acts accumulate into memory. They influence how occupation is remembered on the ground. For the woman, the moment becomes a reference point. It does not erase trauma. It does not restore her home. But it alters expectation. She learns that not every gesture hides a threat, that some soldiers will not disappear after helping. This does not come from trust. It comes from evidence. She is still a prisoner, still cold at night, still uncertain. But the immediate fear eases. The aftermath of these encounters shapes post-war Europe. Civilian survival rates improve as logistics stabilize. Mortality from exposure and starvation declines in areas with organized aid. Camps transform into resettlement centers. Some detainees return home, others cannot. Borders shift. Homes lie in different countries. Women often bear the burden of rebuilding. The psychological scars remain deep. Many remember the war not only through bombs, but through moments of helplessness and unexpected mercy. For the occupying forces, lessons are learned slowly. Humanitarian responsibility becomes part of military doctrine. Civil affairs units expand in later conflicts. The cost of ignoring civilian suffering becomes clear, not only in lives lost, but in instability created. The woman with the coat represents countless others whose survival hinged on small decisions made by tired soldiers in cold fields. The war ends officially in Europe in May 1945, but its human consequences unfold for years. Displacement continues. Trials begin. Nations rebuild. Memory settles unevenly. This single moment does not change history. It reveals it. War is not only movement of armies, it is the management of fear after the fighting stops. It is the weight of a coat on fragile shoulders. It is the pause before abandonment that does not come. It teaches that even in total collapse, restraint matters. Presence matters. Staying matters.